Hey, Peter. So I figured I'd just make you a quick video, um, since you seem cool and you're a teacher. So we gotta stick together. So I like the first like throw before this, where you're like, oh wait, off arm, and then you restart. It's a good catch. But for where it looks like you're at, I wouldn't worry about your off arm yet. You can totally work that in. But there's enough other stuff going on that if you're thinking about your off arm first, you're going to think about your off arm, and then there's not time to think about other stuff. So for now, I would recommend just like put your left arm in your pocket, or just keep it real close to your body, so that you have less things to focus on while we're getting fundamental basics down. And then the left arm will come in when everything else is solid. So I can tell you got a couple things going on that are good. Like you're starting from a standstill. That's groovy. Um, be careful about leaving this heel down. So let me stand up and think for a second. Yeah, so you wanna start on the ball of that foot, because as you come through your throw, this leg is going to get longer because you lift the heel up, right? So this length is longer than when you were standing flat and your heel was all the way down. So that means that your hip is going from here up into your brace, and then you're going to tend to spill forward over your brace, and we really want that to be the opposite. So let's say you were asking about the push off of the rear leg. It's not really a push. It's like you want, if you look at like stills of the pros at this phase, they have their knee tipped in, and then their other knee also tipped in. So that tipping in position is kind of the important bit. Super doesn't matter at your level, but just so you're like conceptually aware of that. Um, so I can get you a quick little drill for that at some point when that becomes relevant. Um, your brace leg like looks pretty good. Like you're coming in. What a lot of beginners do is they turn this foot toes back, then this foot toes forward, and it looks like you're not doing that. Like you have this down on a pretty close to a 90-degree angle. So that's big a big advantage over a lot of people that are just starting out. Yeah, so be on the ball of that rear foot at this point. Like that, your lower body looks pretty darn good. Yeah, so let's leave that as is for now. No complaints there. But the upper body, you got some tweaks to make, which it sounds like is some stuff that you're aware of, like shoulder collapse and rounding. Um, so conceptually, um, you are throwing inside. You are throwing to a net. So I understand you need to look at that net so you do not throw a disc into your whiteboard. That is understood. However, looking at your target like this is kind of not going to set you up for success, because your shoulder is tied to your head, and as you come through, your head comes through with your shoulder, which is not really what we want. So I'll do a demo. Like it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Some shoulder and some timing stuff to work on, but it's a good start. So not a lot of constructive criticism on that one, but on the other video, I think there's more that I can give you that'll be useful. You got a lot of space. Well, but you're thrown at a TV, so I understand the hesitancy to not look at your target. Um, Very cool that you can set up in your classroom. No. Okay, setup looks all right. Reaching out intentionally. It's good. So how's your shoulder? So reach back position, just in general, I feel like could be more productive. And then you're kind of rounding, you're scooping into your throw, which a lot of players do, but I don't recommend it for beginners. So this angle is problematic. I can't draw straight lines. So your front shoulder is a little bit shrugged. It's a little bit too far up, and your right bicep is too close to your right pec. So this is called collapsing at the shoulder, and your disc is behind your body from the target. So like over here, if we're looking at top view, if this is your T-pad, right? If your body is here and the disc ends up here, there's no good straight path for the disc to take that doesn't go through your body. So this edge of the disc has to go around. And then you run into a problem of now your release point is really timing specific, because if you release early, the disc is going to go too far left. If you release late, the disc is going to go too far right. But if you happen to release magically perfectly somehow, it's going to go where you want it. But if you instead get the disc to same overhead view, here's your body, here's the disc, and here's your arm. If you get your elbow to fold and drive out in front of your body, where the disc has a more linear path, it's not going to be perfectly linear. It's going to do all sorts of weird stuff. But this sets you up better for success because your release isn't timing specific anymore. Your elbow is, at some point, your elbow is going to run out of room and it's going to rip over this way. And then the disc is going to keep going forward and your hand is going to rip off of the disc in a way that just makes, one, it makes power happen more because you're actually like levering the disc off of your grip. And it's not timing sensitive because basically you're cracking a whip. And as long as you do that in the same place relative to your footwork every time, the disc is going to go exactly on the same, it's going to be on the same angle and it's going to be going the same direction relative to your feet. So that's kind of where consistency comes from. So let's, yeah, and then I can just tell here that your elbow is too low. Yeah, so you're doing a little bit, I'll get you a video. Oh, it's the video already linked to you. You have a little bit of that going on. So let's pop over to demo mode and I will show you the things. So what did we need to go over? We need to go over, just leave your offhand down. Like you have the right idea, but that timing is very specific and it's not the biggest fish to fry right now. So the biggest thing to work on right now, so if I'm throwing away from the camera, you're setting up here. So you're kind of low. Like I want your elbow higher. So this will break down quickly, but try throwing, keeping everything up on the level of your shoulders. So shoulders are level, elbow is as high as that, disc is as high as that. So you're gonna throw here. Very quickly, you will want to not throw flat anymore and commit to, instead of throwing here, tilting forward at your hips and throwing here on this hyzer angle. So like realistically, you'll be on like maybe that's 30 degrees of angle from flat. So we can talk more about that in the future. Go ahead and stay flat for now if that's what feels comfortable. But you're going to have more power on a hyzer. Look at my hyzer videos on the channel if you want to understand that stuff. But the biggest thing is your lower body's fine. So upper body, when you get into your plant, you have reached back to a very nice wide rail, it's called, position where you're not reaching straight back on the line you're trying to throw, you're reaching out here. But then what you're doing is you're getting to that point and then you're coming this way and getting the disc a little bit behind you and getting this shoulder angle pinched off just a little too much. So the trebuchet drill thing that I came up with, actually a guy named Luke Ghost did it 4 years ago and I didn't know that. He's a really smart guy, though. His stuff is really good, too. Very wordy. If you think I'm wordy, go watch him. But great coach. Like, he's the guy that turned me on to understanding how complex this stuff is. So you're, rather than getting here and staying here and then just driving the elbow forward like that, that's what we want, right? So what you're doing instead is you're getting to this nice reach back position. And then because it feels powerful, you're bringing the body, the disc back here behind the body. And then you have more weight in your arm and it feels strong to throw your whole arm around. But that's not what actually makes a disc go far. What makes a disc go far is getting out here, supporting the elbow with shoulder muscles and driving the elbow quickly. So it's not that you're like doing this really fast, you are, but you're doing only like to here. And you're supporting that with the turn that's actually caused by the brace. So there's a lot of theory, but what the change I want you to actually make is reach back here and then just push the elbow forward. So don't get to this spot, because then what's happening is you're dropping your elbow a little bit and you're throwing like this. So you're kind of cutting short your power, because think about the amount of leverage from here to my spine, right? If my spine is the axis of rotation, then the lever is to my elbow. So here I don't have a lot of power because my lever is very short. It's only like 8 inches from my spine to my elbow. But if I can keep it up here, now my lever is, the foot of my upper arm plus a couple inches of shoulder. So you can just see it, right? If I go here, you can tell that's not going to go very far. But if I keep it up, that one's, sorry, hitting my mic, that one's going to go a lot more because you're driving your lever forward, and it's the hinging. It's that makes power, right? So if I come down here, there, you're not going to get a lot of power. But if the elbow hinging closed and then open, that's what makes the magic happen. And then you get another one of those when the disc actually rips out of your grip. So was that all we wanted to go over? I think so. Yeah, so check out the trebuchet drill on my channel. It's basically just doing this to get a feel for keeping that elbow out. And then there's a more advanced version where you actually, the reach back position. So you're getting to here, right? So my shoulders aren't even square to where my chest is facing directly backwards if I'm throwing that way. So you actually want to get to here where my shoulder to disc is not quite straight. That's really far to stretch, but it's close. It's like 30 degrees off of straight. So like 100, 120, 130, something like that. So you really want to get there. That'll help you not feel the need to go here and get the disc behind you. So you're just come to the reach back position you're at, and then push the disc an extra 8 inches on that line that your arm is on. That'll open up your shoulder angle a lot more, and it'll make the off arm start to make more sense too, because then the off arm can just shoot down towards your right pocket, and that'll kind of get everything moving in the right direction. And you can do the trebuchet drill and take this and actually bump your elbow forward and then throw from there. So hopefully that's helpful. Ask questions if any of that is horribly confusing. But yeah, it's looking good. I'll just clean up the elbow position and keep that upper arm nice and wide out there. And then we'll tackle the hyzer stuff next time. All right. Good luck, sir.